Samira. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
When did brother become Lavanya?
Oh my God. I don't know how to change that.
You can click on the dotted line and change.
Yes. Got it.
Hi Vijaya.
Hi, good evening, Hemant. How are
Good
you?
evening. Good evening. So today we will pass on this chair to Lavanya.
Absolutely. This
Yeah.
chair
No.
goes to you.
You will stay there.
No, the physical chair too.
Oh, absolutely. I'll need your help to cart it across.
Sorry.
I'll need your help to take it across.
No, my SUV can take it. No problem.
Samira is here.
Hi, Samira.
Can we see your face? Hello, Tia Modi.
Hi,
Hi,
Divya.
Soumya.
Hello, Divya.
Hi, Soumya.
I thought you will wear a sari today.
Hi, Samira is also a different person today.
Divya, unmute.
Hi, good evening, Firoz. Good to see you.
Mute. You're muted.
I said Lavanya looks
Hi everyone.
different today.
See my new look. How do I look?
Lavanya looks completely ready for the part.
Yeah, at least let me show my face. If not, then.
She just used FaceApp.
Asha, tell me this. Do I sit or stand?
It's up
Hi,
to you,
Hemant.
Soumya.
Hi,
इधर
Vinod.
उधर की बात करनी है ना, आराम से बैठ के करो.
Soumya, you can take a position which is between sitting and standing also. No problem.
She was
Hi,
trying FaceApp.
Samira. So good to see you. Where's your
Good to
little
see
one?
you
I
all.
can hear him.
Ziddu, Ziddu.
Everybody, oh,
Oh.
oh, such a cutie.
I will just come
Oh,
where my glasses and come.
my gosh, she's grown so much, so cute.
No, I didn't know. I missed.
So
I am
cute,
all
Samira.
excited to hear your debates. You guys carry on.
Now Anuradha has become Lavanya.
Yeah. How do you make you co-host? I'm making Hemant co-host. Please, you can admit people. And who else?
Have we kept that provision? Acha, like everyone has to be admitted. That's the command. Okay.
Yeah. Firoz left. Samira, they are there. Okay.
I am here, Lavanya. Firoz left.
Firoz left. Okay.
Samira. Oh, that even that one is, he's also there. He's going to debate.
They are all in the mood for debate. Hi, Soumya.
Hi, Samira.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For DTM or Triple
For
Crown?
DTM or for something else?
For DTM.
हाँ.
उसने congratulations बोला, मैंने ले लिया बस.
नहीं, मैं सोच रही थी कुछ नया तो नहीं आया आज जो मैंने मिस कर दिया.
कुछ
नहीं,
End of June सबको congratulation बोलने का है बस.
Yes. Right now in Toastmaster, DTM and Triple Crowns are coming after the another.
It's raining DTMs.
Yeah, so like suddenly the WhatsApp groups are filled with congratulations only. One, then the second, then the third.
Very true.
And suddenly you want to find an information, you can't find the information in the group. And then in one of our TGIS group, they push GIF file. So GIF file takes so much of space for each congratulation.
Oh.
Arey, VP Education is here.
Yes,
VPS is all
I
set.
got my chai. I'm sitting down now today for a change.
Divya, you have a completely fresh look about you.
I just took bath. I just came back from
That's why
office.
I said it.
And
Hi.
TMOD is preparing, you see, already tensed. Big
How-
meeting today.
But how do we, Divya, how do we know you have taken a bath or you have just put the sprayer which you do for the plants to water
The
it?
freshness will only come when you take bath. Otherwise, it
Our
won't.
VPPR has joined us.
Yeah,
Our sergeant at arms has joined us.
Hi, Pranav.
XCOM is
staff
all here
debater has
except
joined
secretary.
us.
Where is the secretary?
Who's the secretary?
Vinod,
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's all in the house.
Yeah,
And
it's in the house.
Divya, is it a cake or a biscuit?
It is Rusk.
Ah, rusk, okay.
Sorry, let me switch off the video and eat.
No.
No.
Welcome, Hashim.
Am I audible?
Yes, Pranav, you're audible.
Hari
Good
has
evening, one and
finally
all.
switched on his video. It's a big thing. Hari
Oh,
with his
me?
video on.
Lavanya,
Yes.
don't admit late so that I can see. Otherwise, if you admit, then I'll miss out.
Okay. I have go for 5 minutes. Please admit
Yeah,
it.
so that I can see who are coming.
Lavanya is Vinod Panikar in?
Not yet.
You
Hi,
have
good evening, everyone.
You have
Good
something to
evening.
settle.
Hashim's there.
Hari, you have to
Good
settle the
evening.
score.
Good
We
evening.
need videos to be on because we don't know whom we are saying good evening to otherwise.
Okay, Vijay. We got that.
Karthikeyan, is it a virtual book shelf or your own book shelf?
Virtual.
He's
It is
fooling
virtual?
everyone with that background.
Actually, I wanted to ask you the question last time itself. If it was not virtual, I was going to come over to your place.
No, if Karthikeyan would have read all these books, his head would have been bigger, not the body.
Hi,
You
Anu.
got it right.
No, but Karthikeyan,
You're
it has come
muted. I
out-
can't hear you, Anu.
It's come out very nicely because it's the image is fixed and looks natural. Even with your movement, you can't make it out generally.
Because my wall is the color of the wall matters, no?
Okay.
Anu,
If
your
it's like
your
green or
picture
light
is on
green, then
Lavanya's
the picture
screen.
will come out.
She's
lost.
Anu,
Hi,
is
Hashim.
on Lavanya's.
Hi,
Hi,
Hema.
Smita.
Yeah,
Hi, Hashim.
Good evening,
Hi,
Hashim.
Good evening.
Why you're not moving? Is that only your picture or you
It's
are
only a
there?
picture.
Yeah, I'm clothless. Need a few minutes to.
Hi, Rajiv.
Hi.
Aurora Borealis on Rajiv's screen.
Yeah.
Every time something has to go wrong with Rajiv's video.
That's Rajiv becoming one with the universe.
Hi, Smita.
And Hashim is perfecting the art of ventriloquism. He's speaking without moving his lips.
My lips don't lie.
We have a guest here. Oh, Madam Samira Khan.
I am not a guest. Nobody, everyone knows me here.
Oh, really? I don't know you. Who are you? Who you?
No, Samira, technically you are guest.
I have
You
visited
should
the
become
club
a
before
member.
also.
Huh?
It's high time you become a member.
Yes.
Actually, I am thinking about it.
Very
No,
good.
don't think. There's many a slip between the cup and the lip, so don't think. Act. Action has. Oh, the theme for the day is action.
Theme for the day is idhar udhar ki baatein in English.
And like when Samira will join, we'll have a debate topic. Does humorous person makes a good debater?
I highly doubt that. You know, impromptu speaking makes me very nervous.
Oh, I'm very desperate now to know what is that idhar udhar ki baatein, Soumya.
Yeah,
No,
seriously.
you'll know very soon. Don't worry.
अनु सारे तुम्हारे बारे में इधर उधर की बातें हैं.
No, yeah. You know, Vijaya, we have this moms club. We supposing one person goes out, we'll say, okay, you please continue. We need to bitch about you. Sorry. I beg your pardon. No taboo words.
So, Smita, did you mentor any team?
all the co-hosts don't enter anyone. Let me admit. So I see who is coming.
Unmute, Smita.
Did you mentor anybody?
I'm chilling. I'm taking a break from debates.
You're taking a break from debates.
She's had a fill of debates actually. But that is very debatable whether you should take a break.
After doing for what 5 debates in 1 week, I think I deserve a break.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, Smita, it's not break, it's detoxing.
Okay, so that next meeting I can come back with
Hello, Rania.
fresh energy.
Hello.
Hi, Rania. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good evening, Rania.
How are you?
Hello, Rania.
Hello.
Oh ho.
Haven't I?
Yes.
A long time no see. How have you been?
Yes, no, I saw you in the debate when this debate was happening. You were there.
Yeah, I was
That's
just
the beauty of
observing.
this. That's the beauty of this dispensing.
Yes,
Keeping,
absolutely.
bringing everyone together anytime.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hats online.
Hats
Can you
online.
can you rename so that we know? Otherwise,
It's Ravi, right?
We are a little worried. Is it Ravi? No.
Yes, Ravi. Yeah.
Because humoroid so
Yes,
looks like
that's
Ravi.
him.
So Nali is not
No, it's
here
Ravi.
today.
Ravi, can you rename your screen name?
What is this cross-examination at the end? I haven't heard.
No,
Hi,
this is
Divya.
Hi,
Hi, Soumya.
Hi. I said hi to you. I think you're so busy responding to
No, I didn't hear. So sorry.
CGD elect. No, CGD now, not elect.
No, elect. No, elect is gone now. Yeah.
a star
She
is
is
right.
CGD.
First day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost now how many? 18 hours into the role,
18 hours what?
into your CGD role.
A day? No, come on.
18 hours. Yesterday 12 o'clock in the night, and today 6
2
o'clock.
o'clock. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
18,
I had to
18
send
hours.
those flyers. It was my last night. Deepa is in charge.
Samir
I had
is
to send
Samir
those.
is making it to championship semifinals.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great news.
I was waiting all night because we knew yesterday, but we couldn't announce it until we got the news uploaded on the website. But we knew he won, so I was waiting all night for that. But then it didn't happen until the morning. So that's immediately I sent posted the announcement.
So which Anuradha
Let's
is
see.
Lavanya and which Lavanya is Anuradha?
Both are same.
So
No, Anuradha is Anuradha and Lavanya is Anuradha.
Acha, because I think okay, I understand why it is so. Correct. So if Lavanya puts the video off, Anuradha's photo will come.
No, she can change that. She can change that.
Acha, see. No, because I think it's your login ID, so that's the reason.
We have a guest with us.
So far, we haven't seen.
Yes, someone has signed in.
We
Good
have a
evening,
guest.
Pooja.
Pooja Baburaj.
Yeah, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening to you all.
Welcome, Pooja. Pooja is the first guest registered for this meeting.
Very nice.
Noor is here. Hi, Noor. Hi, Lavanya.
Hi, Rania. Hi. Hello, Noor. Where are you?
Noor from Kuwait, all the way from Kuwait.
Good evening.
All the way
Hi,
from
Noor.
Kuwait.
Hi, Rania.
How
Hi,
are you?
everyone.
Long time.
Long time no see. Yes. Good to see you all.
Yes, how have you been?
Yeah.
Welcome, Noor. Long time.
Who's that? Hi, Samira. Yeah, it's been a while. How are you? And how is everyone?
Noor, play your video. At least long time no see, and we are
You're in the office, huh?
Yeah, this is the.
You cannot open the video.
No, it's a policy here. There are cameras here looking at me.
Hi, Noor.
Hi, Rajiv. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much. Hi, Vijaya.
Hi, good evening. Good to
Good
have
evening.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Lavanya is here.
Yes,
Hello.
she's here.
She is very diligently following up with me, though.
Absolutely.
Actually.
And thanks to her, we have you with us this evening.
Yes, thank you so much. It's the honor is all mine.
Hi, Ajita.
Hi, good evening, Vijaya.
Good evening. Hi, good evening, Vinod.
Good evening, everyone.
So good to see you back after such a long
Hi,
time.
Vijaya. Hi, Rania. Yes. Just
भूले भटके घर को लौट आए.
दिव्या जबरदस्ती लेके आई.
How do you feel, Vinod? A few pounds lighter?
No, nothing like that. This good evening, Rania. Oh, our
Good
club
evening.
director is here. Birthday log की बातें.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Sandeep sir. Good
Ajita.
evening, Rajiv.
Good evening.
Hi, Sandeep. How are you?
Good evening,
Very
Sandeep.
good. Very good. Good evening.
Same question can be asked to Sandeep. Sandeep, feeling little lighter?
Yeah.
Hey, put me in our breakout room, no? Who is the Zoom master, please?
Hemant is
My
the Zoom
God. My God. You. We will switch off the speakers here. You can discuss here.
I trust you, Sandeep sir.
This is this is called putting pressure on the opponent. The way we used to actually keep on going through all our books just 2 minutes before the examination.
See, like
संदीप सर आपके लिए जान भी हाजिर है, मांग मत लेना बस.
So
You
let
know,
me
once we
prepare them.
resume actual meetings, networking is going to be a big challenge. We are all so used to looking at the screen. see, everyone's eyes darting here and there.
We will have an education session on this.
On how to sit
We
without
should have education session on how to sit in a one place for like 2 hours.
Actually,
And
you
how
are
to
not
not
supposed
let your
to move
eyes
your
dart
eyes.
here and there.
You are not supposed to move your eyes. You are just supposed to look at the lens like this.
Oh my God, that's
Oh,
scary.
Rafiq is here as well.
That's a torture. You have to look at the camera with a lot of love.
After debate.
If you look like that, your opponent is going to run away.
Toastmaster Anuradha and Vijaya, this love is going a little far. Other people are watching, no?
It's love, Hari.
Oh, we have Rafiq from.
You are showing love to the camera, but that camera is communicating to somebody else.
That is Lavanya. Hari, I'm the timer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that. Rather, I mistook it. Identity theft.
Identity theft it is, yeah.
I think Vinod is back to research. He vanished. No problem. No.
Now that you are at it, you some points for us also, no?
It's okay, Vinod. No amount of research is going to save you today. I am crossing. I have to put pressure also, right?
Yeah, this is worse than the Australian sledging.
Psychological warfare, I only heard it on the news. I'm seeing it now live.
Glad we are having an online meeting. Else, I think we could. We'll be seeing some bloodshed and all.
Hi, Usha. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening. Hi, Vijaya. How are you?
I'm good.
Where Stephen hasn't come?
Where is Vinod? The other Vinod, Secretary Vinod?
Moderator Vinod.
Divya, you are muted. Divya, you are muted.
I said,
I
Rafiq,
saw
hi.
Lavanya on the screen, September.
Oh, hi, Ravi.
Hello, Vijaya.
When did Hats Online become? Oh, okay.
I logged into wrong account actually that time.
Okay. DTM Noor, can we see you? We only see your picture every time.
You were
Hi,
saying
Divya.
some difficulty, yes?
Hi, DTM
Hello.
Noor.
Hi, hi.
Can we see you? Can we see you, please?
Actually, there is no camera here attached, Divya.
I know.
Yes, he's not
I was
allowed to switch
hoping
on the
to see you
camera.
this
Yeah.
time.
Hi, Rafiq.
Hi.
Hi, Rafiq.
Long time to see. Wow.
But I can see that like most people look better now. They learned how to look good on camera. The camera angles are better and the backgrounds are better.
The makeup is better, you mean?
Yeah.
He learned
Also filters.
So hello. So Noor is not going to appear, right? It's a long time since I have seen his face.
Yeah.
I think it's the same picture that we are seeing for quite a long time, right?
Hi, Ravi.
I know.
It hasn't been updated from 2015.
Do you still look the same, or is there any difference to how you look? Do you look the
No,
same?
I look almost the same.
Yeah, because I can recollect this picture from the DTAC 2015.
Yes, Ravi. I remember you were the DTAC chair that time.
Yes.
Good evening.
Hi,
Ramesh sir
Heyman.
was a DTAC chair. That was my first DTAC, and it was one of the best DTACs. Hi, how are you?
See, true to the debate, I'm using a gaming chair even today.
DTM Saju is also there.
Which machine you have, Ravi?
Ravi, with that you can only play game, not sports.
No, it's possible. It's made for that sports.
They already started even before the debate has started.
Debate has already started. That's what I was going
No,
to say.
we know this just testing whether I have done my research. We know that I have. Job to do. I don't have any visual aids. That's the only
In
problem.
the physical meetings in debate, people would keep trickling in till 7:30 also, and just look at us here half an hour ahead of time. Waiting for this to start.
That's because there's no traffic jam, no?
Hi, DTM Saju.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Your mustache is gone?
Yeah, I just thought, for a change.
Okay, nice. This is a nice change. Our regular members are not there, all of them.
Yeah, where is I'm missing Sonali.
Yeah, Sonali.
Vinod, where is your third team member? He is not to be heard. Only you and Hariharan seem to be making all the noise.
He is ready. He is preparing. He is the most, prepared person in our team.
Ah, okay.
Deepji, I'm waiting for the applause to come. Then my points will come.
Okay, great.
The applause comes first, I speak after that.
In Zoom meeting also, we'll ask the guest to introduce the way we do in normal meeting, or we don't do in the Zoom meeting.
Rajiv, we are good to go in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The moderator is not here, no?
Moderator is here.
Huh?
He's just not started this computer.
Okay, if you say so, we'll agree.
The moderator will come up with a new topic now.
Yeah, he might come up with that.
I think he got a topic close to his heart.
എടുത്തു. അവിടെ രണ്ടെണ്ണം ഇല്ലേ?
Hello.
All the best, Soumya. Before we wish the debating teams, I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
മേടിച്ചു എല്ലാം മേടിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई? Red. Anuradha is already showing red. Time to go.
Good evening, Toastmasters और गेस्ट. वर्ष 2020-21 की इस पहली क्लब बैठक में आपका स्वागत है. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to this first club meeting of the year 2020-21. And the new XCOM is very energetic and promising with the support and guidance from our rocking outgoing president, Toastmaster Vijaya. So what is Toastmasters? Toastmasters International is a non-profit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Founded by Dr. Ralph Smedley in 1924, headquartered in Englewood, Colorado, the organization membership presently exceeds 358,000 in more than 16,800 clubs in 143 countries, and the numbers keep changing every day. Since 1924, Toastmasters International has helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. A vision statement declares a vision of the future. Request you all to adhere to the 3 no's policies: no sex, religion, or politics mentioned during your speeches or other Toastmastering activities. At home, it is your rules. Don't blame me for that. Also, please make sure you're muted and videos can be switched off when somebody is speaking. On this note, it is now time to hand over this platform, and please help me welcome the charming and beautiful lady and my personal favorite, who is someone we all respect and adore, our immediate past club president, Toastmaster Vijaya Sukumar.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, for introducing me. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 30th meeting of Take Debate Toastmasters Club. Today is a kind of celebrations because they say that you need to celebrate endings for they precede new beginnings. And this is the ending of my tenure as a president. The reason why it is ironical that I am here to open the first meeting. The reason why I am here is because at the last meeting, our president-elect was not there to close the meeting. So it was only proper for me to hand over the baton in the right manner. But before doing so, I do want to say a few words. In this club, from friendship to mentorship to leadership, what I have gained is a warm kinship with each and every member. It's a term that I'm always going to look back upon very, very fondly. And I cannot leave this space without giving my heartfelt thanks to my ExCom team, my VP Ed Sonali, my VP PR AB Lakshmanan, my VP membership Radha Hari, my treasurer Lavanya, secretary, gosh, I'm blanked out completely, Divya Raj, and I knew Divya, I haven't blanked out purposely. And then finally, my sergeant at arms, Tarun, who has not been with us for the last few meetings because of personal reasons, but each one of them has been such a wonderful team member. Thank you. Honestly, we wouldn't have achieved whatever we did without the cooperation of the team. No team is strong without each and every member in it. As a team, we've achieved a lot. I think one last award, which we did not announce, is that our club has got the online silver award. That was the last one that we won in the year which ended. So I'm very, very happy to hand over the baton to somebody who is bringing in a new wind of change. The weatherman has told me this wind of change is going to soon balloon up into a tornado, a force to reckon with in Toastmasters world. And this tornado comes in a very small package, but believe me, all good things come in small packages. A dynamic go-getter. It gives me great privilege to introduce to you all the new president of Take DeBait Toastmasters, Toastmaster Lavanya Lakshman.
Thank you, Vijaya. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. And a wise man once said, without a solid foundation, you will have trouble creating anything of value. Since our club is just 2 years old, before we begin our new term, I would like to thank last ExCom as the incoming president. Thank you, Pranab, for that flyer. My sincere gratitude to all the members for ensuring the new ExCom, including myself, with the responsibility for ensuring we keep the momentum going and growing. I can see we have among us our club growth director, Rania. Thank you, DTM Rania, and thank you very much for being here. I see quite a lot of guests attending today's meeting. If this is your first time attending our meeting, can you unmute yourself and in 15 seconds, tell us your name and how you found out about our meeting? Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can go ahead.
All right. Hi, good evening, all. My name is Noor Mohammed. I am from Kuwait. I have been invited to this meeting by Lavanya Lakshman for being the evaluator today. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see all the faces which I have remembered from the past. Soumya Rangarajan, Divya Raj, then I see Ramesh, Vanya, and so many people, Rafiq, all you guys, Hemant, Ravi Musad. Thank you guys. Thank you for having me today here.
Welcome, Noor. Next we have Rajisha.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Rajisha. I think most of you know me. I was invited by Vinod, so I felt I should attend and watch your debate.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Rafiq.
Yes, thank you very much, Toastmaster Lavanya. My name is Rafiq Ahmed. I used to be a part of District 20 in the past, and before District 20, I used to be a part of District 79, the Unified District. And now I'm back to District 79, which is not in District 20 anymore. I was invited here by a couple of my Toastmasters colleagues and friends. One of them is Toastmaster Vinod, Toastmaster Divya, and also Toastmaster Lavanya. I was just interested to know how the debate club proceedings go, because we don't have one from where I come from in District 79. So it's interesting to see how the debate goes. And one thing very interesting was the name of the club itself was like you had the thing where you are putting in the bait to reel in, new members. So I thought, let me take the bait and be here and witness the proceedings of this club. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Rafiq. Rafiq Ahmed is also this year's DTAC champion from District 79. Next is Chandra.
Yeah. Hi. This is Chandra. I'm from Dubai, area, same district. I attended this meeting before. DTMs. I want to listen to DTM Soumya, and I know Ramesh, DTM Ramesh, and everyone. So it is very exciting to attend this meeting. So I want to.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We have Dharmajan, DTM Dharmajan. Pooja, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you. My name is Pooja, and I'm a recent graduate. And I used to be pretty active in the debate circuit when I was in college. But now that I've joined work, I've completely lost, and I didn't want to lose my passion for public speaking. So I decided to join this club. And to be honest, I just searched for clubs that were still active online. And I found Mr. Heyman's number, and he was kind enough to provide the details and include me in this call.
Welcome, Pooja. Glad to have you here. We have DTM Sajid.
Hi, good evening to all of you. It's a privilege to be here with you all. I have been to this club before. I've been invited. In fact, Anuradha had informed me some time back, but Vinod as well as Hemant Mudra was following up with me, inviting me to attend this particular meeting. Always debate is very close to my heart. I'm very happy to be here with you all. I hope I'm going to have a great time today. Thank you.
Definitely. Welcome. We have Samira, DTM Samira.
I'm not a guest. I have visited before. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Thank you for attending this meeting. DTM Devlal.
Good evening. My name is Devlal. I'm a Toastmaster. And I was invited by Ravi Musid and Divya Raj. I can't put on my cam. I'm still halfway through my makeup. Looking forward to the session.
Thank you for coming. Welcome. Have I missed anyone? We have Rania here.
Hi, Lavinia. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm in the car now. I'm heading back home, looking for my phone. It's a pleasure to be with you. I mean, debate is one of my weaknesses, and Vinod told me you should join us and see how it goes. So it has been on my mind. And in the morning, Rajiv sent me the reminder. So I said, no, I wouldn't miss it. So I'll be joining you remotely now. Thank you so much for having me. Over to you, ma'am.
Welcome, Rania.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, for the first meeting of the new Toastmaster year. We have an excellent lineup of events for you, and I can assure at the end of today's meeting, you want to come back for more. For the benefit of first-time attendees, a typical Toastmaster meeting is divided into 3 segments: prepared speeches, evaluation, and table topics. But we are a bit different. We are primarily a debate club. We believe it's better to debate a question without settling it than to settle a question without debating it. Starting this year, we will have two formats of debate. For the first meeting of the month, we will follow TMI special format of debate. For the second meeting of the month, we will have the traditional format of debate followed by District 105. Now it's time to introduce you to someone who is feared for her rebuttal skills, a person whose clarity of thought, logical and analytical mind is much admired, also happened to be one who is die-hard romantic, who hates watching any tragic or depressing movies. She only wants to watch film that has a rosy ending, a happily ever after kind of ending. Many people think of her as being a very strict, disciplined person. Just give her some jalebis and all the discipline goes out for a toss. She has a massive sweet tooth. She is a friend every one of us should have. Please help me welcome with thunderous round of applause our Toastmaster of the evening, DTM Soumya Rangarajan.
Thank you so much, Lavanya, for that wonderful introduction. And I can guess your sources for all that, where you got all that from. So welcome everyone to an evening of action, reactions, and perceptions. When I told this topic to Divya, she said the one taboo word for me. She said, interesting. Because interesting is a word which conveys nothing. So I told Divya, it's nothing fancy. It's just the English equivalent of idhar udhar ki baatein. Basically, when you don't have a structure, you just have to call it something like this. And Pranav, thank you so much for trying to make sense out of it. He had somebody playing and somebody trying to send the ball back, actions and reactions. He interpreted it like that. But I think Newton has spoken enough about actions and reactions. So probably we'll talk more about perceptions. Because I think perceptions are what make life so very interesting. Because we are a debate club, we always start things with a definition. So the definition of perception is something that is regarded, understood, or interpreted after the sense organs have assimilated their matter. So that is for the guests. Please note, in Take Debate, we always define everything. Oh, by the way, I have a disclaimer. All events and characters are real. There is no element of fiction anywhere. And let me take you back to your college days. What happens on the first day of college? What happens on the first day of college? I know somebody can unmute and answer.
Pooja can answer.
Ragging. Yes, so there's going to be a lot of ragging and leg pulling today. And that's actually nothing new in Take Debate. We keep doing it all the time. So now I said idhar udhar ki baatein. For the non-Hindi speaking people, it means matters of here and there. So let me start with here. Okay. I'm going to relate to you an episode with very real characters, a real event which happened in a WhatsApp group a few weeks ago. Take Debaters are more active on WhatsApp than they are in the actual meeting. So you can imagine what happens there. There were 3 people. I won't call them jobless because I don't know how the other 2 were. I was pretty jobless. There were 3 of us idling time on WhatsApp. I was doing a very boring task of trying to clean my computer and I was eliminating pictures. And I found some very interesting pictures of Take Debate, where guests were called upon to be table topic speakers. And I found amazing expressions. So I just started putting up pictures and said, guys, if this is the kind of reaction guests have, how do you hope to improve your membership? And joining me on that fun day were 2 people. You won't even believe who the other 2 were. One was Sandeep Venkasarkar and Anu. We were having a whale of a time, passing comments, and we thought it was pretty harmless. Honestly, it was quite harmless. and captions for everything. I put up 3 pictures. And suddenly, on that nice, happy morning, a villain entered. Okay. Now, this villain put up 2 messages there. Now all of you, many of you might know the villain, but if I name him, none of you will believe me. So he put up 2 messages and he said, Madam President, I have 2 requests. One, let this forum only be for serious debate matters, and we should have another group for trivial matters like this. I can't find important messages here. You know how we reacted? There were quickly 3 sorries, sorry, silence on the group. Then the diplomat, sorry, the apology was just rendered by Sandeep. He said sorry and he went away. Okay, the other 2. Here, you know, the perception I told you. So Anu and I were on the phone. So Anu said, I can't believe Ramesh did this. So I said, Anu, you say Ramesh did this. Who else do you think was capable of this? So we started this session and we realized we eliminated the first 2 pictures because Anu knew that. She said, no, this man is not a problem. This man is not a problem. So we finally zeroed in on the 3rd picture. We said, I think this is the problem. This guy has to be Ramesh's best friend. Because we couldn't identify him. He was not a Toastmaster. We didn't know who he was. So between Anu and I, we decided that is Ramesh's best friend. And you won't believe it. From that instant, Anu's voice, tone, everything changed. She says, Soumya, who is this gentleman? I said, we were calling him man and person till now. And now Anu suddenly saying, gentleman, gentleman. So I had to, you know, watch out. I said, when Anu's calling him gentleman, I can't say, look at this bald man. And he was bald. So what I did, I said, Anu, which man are you talking about? The 3rd gentleman? And she says, oh, the 3rd gentleman in black. I was dying to say, please say the bald man. It's so easy to identify. So what we do, both of us did, we quickly eliminated all our messages. She said, let's delete everything. So we deleted everything. As luck would have it, only the bald man remained. All the other messages got deleted. The bald man remained. So Anu said, why did you remove him? I said, he's ongoing from the... And she said, you acted too late. So for the first time in my life, I left my mobile down, and even cooking seemed more attractive because I was so upset. I said, my God, Ramesh is mad with us. And his best friend, the bald man, has been hurt, and oh, what do we do? So Anu said, it's okay, Soumya, Vijaya will handle it. President, she'll handle it. So Vijaya got up from beauty sleep, aram se. She was no rush because she didn't know what's happening. So she got up, she scrolled through the messages and she finds only Sandeep's messages. Anu's and Soumya's have gone. Then she says, guys, what did you do? So and imagine, just think of it. My best friend calls me and she says, Soumya, what did you do? I said, Vijay, I really didn't do anything. I promise. She says, did you touch upon a taboo topic? I mean, like, imagine this is salt, pepper on wounds. Anyway, what happened after that? She resolved it. We sent an apology to Ramesh, who was very calm as a cucumber, and he said, I was just busy, guys. I said, don't do this. So there was no anger, but I learned a lesson that day. I found out something about myself. What do you think that was? What did I find out about myself? Anyone?
You're scared of DTM Ramesh Anantaraman.
No, I'm not scared of Ramesh Anantaraman. I realized what a lousy debater I was. I didn't have a single rebuttal point that day to tell him. But my only saving grace, Sandeep had rendered the apology even before me. So I said, yay! So now let's start off with our debates, and there's a lot more coming up. So let me introduce you to our debate moderator for the day. This man is very articulate. He's got a lot of clarity of thought. He carries himself with so much authority and dignity, and he's a diplomat to the core. So let me welcome our debate moderator, DTM Vinod Varya.
Thank you so much, DTM Soumya. For the first part of that introduction, I thought we had a replacement for the debate moderator. When you started with the last part, I realized you were actually referring to me. So thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. And welcome to the first debate of the new Toastmasters year. I have the privilege of introducing to you a new format of debate that we're going to be introducing at Take Debate Club. And to kick it off, we have a whole bunch of DTMs, some distinguished, some disturbed, some dashing. I'll let you decide which one is which. So for the benefit of all those who are unfamiliar with this format, let me quickly explain the rules. We will start off the debate with the constructive speech from the opening speaker of Team Affirmative. He will then be cross-examined by the opening speaker from Team Negative. The opening speaker from Team Negative will give his constructive speech. He will then be cross-examined by the second speaker from Team Affirmative. This will continue until every speaker has given their constructive speech, following which the last speaker of Team Negative will be cross-examined by the first speaker of Team Affirmative. And then there will be a summary speech for each speaker. It will be clearer when I keep going through the debate. It will become a lot clearer. With regards to the timing, the constructive speeches from the two opening speakers will be timed at 5 minutes. So the green light will be at 4 minutes 30 seconds, the amber at 4 minutes 40 seconds, the red at 4 minutes 50 seconds, and you'll get a 10-second grace, after which you will be muted as a speaker. All of the cross-examinations will be for 3 minutes, the green light at 2 minutes 30, the amber at 2 minutes 40, and the red at 2 minutes 50 with 10 seconds of grace. Sorry, the cross-examinations will be 2 minutes long, the green at 1 minute, amber at 1:30, the red at 2 minutes, and there is no grace period. You will just be muted during this cross-examination. The constructive speeches for speakers 2 and 3 of both teams will be timed at 3 minutes, as well as the summary speech from the team captains. These will be the opening speakers of the respective teams. You will see the green light at 2 minutes 30, the amber at 2 minutes 40, and the red light at 2 minutes 50 with a 10-second grace. Now, let me quickly introduce you to our dynamic debaters for today. Representing team, we have team captain, distinguished Toastmaster Sandeep Vengsakar. We also have DTM Ravi Musad and DTM Karthikeyan, who will be representing Team Affirmative. Team Negative will be captained by DTM Hashim Halim. And we also have DTM Vinod Panikar and DTM Hariharan, who will be part of Team Negative.
Just a small correction there.
Sure.
Team Negative is captained by DTM Vinod Panikar, and he will be the constructive speaker.
Okay, all right. So I just want to confirm from the speaking order with the team. I'll start with DTM Sandeep. Your team, speaker number 1 is yourself, DTM Sandeep. Second will be Ravi Musad, and third will be Karthikeyan. Do I have that right?
Okay. Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, so I'll go to Vinod Panikar. Your speaking order is Vinod, yourself first.
N1
Hashim
Vinod Panikar, N2 Hashim Halim, and N3 Hariharan, DTM Hariharan.
All right, thank you so much. And this debate will be evaluated by a very seasoned debater and evaluator. We've brought him all the way from Kuwait, the magic of Zoom. All right, are we ready to debate? Let's see a thumbs up. Well, Stephen is. He doesn't have to say anything here. All right, let's welcome. Our motion for this evening is resolved that gaming should be made a global sport. I repeat, resolved that gaming should be made a global sport. Representing Team Affirmative, let's welcome DTM Sandeep Vengsakar. Your time starts now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The motion on the floor is gaming should be made a global sport. Just so that we all are on the same wavelength, and the same platform, let me just look at the three key terms in this motion. The first, sport. In 1999, the Oxford University Press published an encyclopedia of world sport. The editors based their inclusion on the following criteria. An activity can be considered a sport if it involves, number one, competition between two or more individuals or teams. Number two, the rules of play that allow a winner to be determined. And number three, a primary goal of victory. Let's go down to the second one. Global. Anything that has got a worldwide acceptance and appeal. And number three, I don't have to do much on this one because the debate moderator himself defined gaming to encompass all manner of computer, video, console, and online games to be considered under the gamut of gaming. So let's look at online games and let's look at sports. Number one, all online games are competitive. Most video games, whether they are single player or multiple player, have someone which you can compete against, and there is a goal to achieve victory. So strike one out of the 3 points of inclusion. Number two, are they competitive at a global level? Yes, they are. There are tournaments which are now happening for the video games where gamers are already competing for thousands of millions of dollars with fans paying to watch these tournaments. Strike two. Number three, online games, even though they give the feeling that not being physical, they are as physical as any other sport. Gaming involves the exertion of the brain, and there is definitely a need for fast reflexes and dexterity in managing the controller. Some of the top games played at big tournaments require a person to be using a joystick and a controller for extended periods of time, sitting in one position, which in itself is a significant amount of physical exertion. The recent introduction of virtual reality as a part of the gaming environment is also going to put an effort requirement in terms of the physical effort to compete. So that is in respect to why we consider gaming as a sport. Let's now come on to the second point of the global. Do we really think that this is global? Do we think that this has got global appeal? Let me give you a few examples. In 2017, the League of Legends World Championship had more than 80 million viewers worldwide. The Wall Street Journal has confirmed that by the year of 2020, there will be more than 450 million viewers worldwide watching these games and participating in it and paying to watch them. The 2016 Newzoo Global Esports Market Research showed a 16% compounded annual growth rate of viewers and enthusiasts worldwide on these games. What more do you need from a global perspective? Moreover, the core design of these games, the fact that you do not need to be physically present at the venue to compete in these games also makes it immediately amenable from a global perspective. So going back to the original motion, do we think it is a sport? Yes, given the 3 criteria that were used to define this as a sport. Do we think it is global? Yes, with the acceptance that is happening globally with respect to these games. Ladies and gentlemen, I have given you the core in terms of why these games these gaming console, the video games and gaming should be accepted as sport. My other team members will continue on this journey further. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandeep. Now, can I please welcome Toastmaster Vinod Panikar to start the cross-examination. Toastmaster Vinod, your time starts now.
Good evening. I heard a very entertaining speech. Now you mentioned 3 points, and at the last you mentioned about the core design that it makes amenable that anyone can play from anywhere. Doesn't that increases the chances of fraud?
No.
Why?
Because the gaming rules are very clear. The person who is playing has to be video compatible, number one, just like you and me are. So if you are saying that you are capable of fraud, no, I don't think it is, because I am seeing
Can
you
it be
competing
hacked?
in this.
Can a person sitting in front of video game and can somebody else can be playing from somewhere else? Isn't that possible? Isn't that happening in today's world?
So if you're saying that the hacking is one reason why it should not be a global sport, yes, it can be hacked.
And global sports, you didn't name any single organization for the gaming.
So there are multiple organizations worldwide for gaming. And if I look at it, you have esports worldwide, which is a classic organization which is doing this.
So there are 3 organizations which are fighting for it. Okay, that was your job, but I will tell it later.
Better to have someone else do it for you.
Yes, and the definition that you had given, the physical word was missing in the definition, but you added that physical exertion in the later point.
Yeah. So just so that I know that that's a point that's going to come from you. That's the reason I said better I come up with that point rather than counter your point later on.
So you agree that there is a physical element in sports?
And there is a physical element in gaming too.
So you mean this is gaming for 4 hours?
Yes.
So that means if I have a popcorn box and if I keep eating and start live streaming, will it become a global sport? If 100 people from 100 countries do it?
If you can have a competition of that gaming of eating popcorn across each other, yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. Now, Toastmaster Vinod Panikar, your 5 minutes for your constructive speech starts now. Vinod, you are muted, please. Timer, can we restart the timing, please?
Just a second. Yeah, now it is okay?
Yes, it is. Vinod, your 5 minutes starts now.
Good evening, moderator. Resolve. Gaming should be made a global sports and we are against the motion. I would like to slightly correct the definition what our opposition has given and from the Oxford Press saying that it's an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against member or other for entertainment. Now the physical exertion was missing from the definition. That's why we'd just like to add it. Now, first of all, what do you want to be global sports exactly? Are you trying to make an industry gaming? Because is it Counter-Strike? Is it Dot 2? Is it Dragon Ball? Is it Funtrain? What is it? You are making an entire industry. You want to make it like what you say, a sports. Now that was again missing from you. Now let me tell why gaming should not be means recognized as an sports globally. Gaming industry lacks governance and regulation like a professional sports body. The University of Miami Law School Law Review, which came out on 14/5/2019, published a paper called The Challenge of Implementing a Governing Body for Regulating Esports by Jacqueline Martinelli. She said that currently there are multiple organizations that claim to govern the esport industry, but they all cover different area of sport, which causes them to lack cohesion. Many different organizations are becoming involved in this growing enterprise, making the industry a free for all. Therefore, the current regulation greatly depends on the country sponsoring the event. Thus, implementing a single regulatory body is a multidimensional issue with many players involved and therefore a large undertaking. One more research from Dr. Sarah Kelly from University of Queensland, Australia in March 2019, in the paper, The Ethics of Esports, she said that Although esports are fast becoming mainstream, they still operate in a world of their own, where none of the usual rules apply. Esports are one of the fastest growing entertainment sectors, but there is a glaring lack of governance and regulation across the industry. Second, gaming encourages corruption at young age. Just 60 days before, a recent article, 3rd May 2020, updated the Victoria in Australia. Victoria men hit with corruption charges over alleged esports match fixing. Five men have been charged with match fixing offenses as part of the first Australian criminal investigation. The key points to note over here, my friends: some of the charges carry maximum penalty of 10 years in jail. The men aged between 20 and 27 have been charged with using corrupt information for betting purpose. Now, the most astonishing thing, Assistant Commissioner Patterson said last year the men alleged involved in the fixing had gone to the same high school and university and were from normal suburban Melbourne families. We have got young men, typically 19 or 20 years old, who have no history with police, he said. They are getting involved in offenses at quite a young age that have serious consequences for them. The sheer volume of young men involving in gambling, both in high school and in universities, is at epidemic promotion. What I am not seeing is anyone doing nothing particularly about that. Again, Korean Esports Federation, the chairman of Korean Esports Federation, Yoon Bung, was found guilty of charges of corruption and abuse and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. And he had a term from 2014 to 2017. Just imagine how deep the corruption is if the chairman of an association is corrupt. Third, gaming disorder has been designated as mental health condition by World Health Organization. Now, what is a gaming disorder? It is defined in the 11th revision of the International Classification of Disease as a pattern of gaming behavior, that is digital gaming or video gaming, characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests and daily activities, and continuation or escalation of games despite the occurrence of negative consequences. My dear friends, I request the House to keep our youth safe from corruption and ill health. Gaming should be made a global sport. We as a team are strongly against the motion. Request the House to pass the motion. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vinod. Now, can I please welcome Toastmaster Ravi Musad? Your time for Ravi, can you please unmute yourself first? All right, Ravi.
Just a second. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, we can hear you. So Ravi, your 2 minutes of cross-examination starts now.
Respected debate master, good evening Toastmasters. And special good evening to Toastmaster Vinod Panikar, my opponent.
Good evening, sir.
Toastmaster Vinod, you have talked about governance as a major point. You talked on it for a lot of time actually in your debate. So let me ask you one simple question. If you recognize something as a sport, the chances of more regulations are there or less regulations are there. Now it's unregulated. When you recognize it as a sport, don't you think there will be more regulations when it is recognized?
Actually, it is reverse. The International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach recently said that until and unless it has got a regulation, we will not consider it as a sport. That is not a job of a regulatory authority to make it. It has to come, the regulation has to be set up first and it has to be ethical and proper. Then only it can be considered. So the base needs to be strong. Only if the parents are good, the kids will be good basically.
I got your point. Our point is that first it needs to be recognized as a sport, because when something is not sports, there is no regulation. And second, you mentioned about corruption. Do you think any sports with a corruption need to be banned? Because corruption is there in cricket, football, everywhere you can see. Corruption can be a criteria for sports. We don't think so. Do you think anything?
My friend, when there is already enough corruption, why do you want to add extra corruption?
Okay,
don't we need to together fight for a world where there is no corruption?
Okay, so you want a different criteria for esports and different criteria for other sports. Here should not be corruption. There you can have corruption. What is the point?
We don't want corruption, and our my fellow teammates will give you a very good data of corruption in esports.
Okay, got it. Now coming to mental disorder, there is a specific study regarding Olympic athletes that 60% of the Olympic athletes after the Olympics is over, if they fail, they face mental disorders, mental stress and serious mental issues actually. Do you think Olympics should be banned because of that?
How is it related to this issue?
Because you said mental disorders are one problem with the gaming. Because
no, that is.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vinod. All right, Ravi, can you please unmute yourself once more?
Yes.
All right. Toastmaster Ravi, your time for your constructive speech, your 3 minutes starts now.
Debate master and dear Toastmasters, gaming as an industry is booming at a rate about 12% per annum, and people are into gaming big time, and this trend is going to continue no matter what. The only question is whether we should make it a global sport or not. What happens really when you make it a global sport, when you officially recognize it as a global sport? One, as my previous speaker said, regulations. The regulations are going to increase when you make it a sport. Right now, it's not a sport, so the awareness of the regulations, the safety regulations, everything is less. If you take the case of alcohol, why alcohol is considered as food? If it is not food, it will not be in food regulations. So first thing is that you need to convince, but you need to make sure that it is a sport. That's regarding regulations. Number two, finally, if you make it a gaming, official sport, it will give you an inclusive sport. For example, e-sport, as we call it, can be played by young and old, men and women, and even the physically challenged people can compete with the mainstream players in e-sport. Just imagine how beautiful such a situation would be. You don't have a separate category for everyone. That will be most inclusive sport in the world. And third, recognizing gaming as a sport allows educational institutions to leverage the positives of gaming. For example, there is a study conducted by Greg West from Montreal University in 2017 that gaming can improve your mental health. It can actually reduce the age-related issues like Alzheimer's. And there is another study from Sapienza University of Rome says video games can improve the eye-hand coordination, and it can help the medical students improve their laparoscopic skills. But they can't use it because it's not considered a sport right now officially. And University of Rochester study says that it can improve your eyesight. So there are countless studies that says that gaming can be used for positive purposes. And for all these things that we need to recognize it as a sport in the first place. Otherwise, there won't be any regulations. No one take it as a serious thing at all. And I would just try to tell you the last thing. If you want your kids to play the game in a safe environment, because they are going to play these games anyway. So do you want them to play it in a safer environment, a regulated environment? And if you want to see inclusive sports as a part of all other sports, and do you want as a person to slow down the effects of aging yourself actually, because it can be beneficial to you as well. And in case if you agree with me on all these points, what I would suggest is that when you are going back home, pick up one of this. If you are a beginner, I would suggest this is the best console I can suggest for you. That's all from me. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ravi. Now, can I please welcome Toastmaster Hashim? Can you first unmute yourself?
Hi, good evening.
All right, brilliant. All right, so Toastmaster Hashim, your cross-examination time of 2 minutes starts now.
Right, very good evening to everyone, and particularly to my worthy opponent, DTM Ravi Musad. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
All right, so Ravi, you had mentioned that educational institutions tend to use video games for their educational material.
They can, yes.
They can, okay. And if it's made a sport, then they will be able to use it. So my question to you is, I mean, in school, have you played any games when you were in school?
I have played games in school, of course, yeah.
So making it a sport has absolutely nothing to do with whether the school will be able to use it or not. So
no,
what is the relevance of that in your
using
point?
it officially as a part of the curriculum to improve skills, that requires to be recognized as a sport. Otherwise, no.
But does any educational institution require that it needs to be a sport in order to include it in the curriculum? No regulation ever says that.
if you take the case of any university or anyone, the board will accept something into the curriculum only if it is officially recognized as widely. Otherwise, the chances are very less because there are no regulations around it.
Colleges and institutions have games also. So that point really does not.
They will not take an unregulated sport into their curriculum.
That point does not really happen. Anyway, moving on, you mentioned that if it is made a sport, then there will be a safer environment. Again, we have games which are played in safe environments. What does making it a sport have to do with safety at any level, at a lower root level, for example?
Yeah, because when you make it a sport, the first recognized sports, the moment you recognize, it's not like next day you give it to all. Then you will make the regulations, and it's a progression actually. It's a slow process that's happening. So the
We
first
have games also which are played at city level, town level, area level. There are safety regulations in place. This has nothing to do with making it a sport, and that too, the topic here is global sport. So what exactly is the relevance of this point there?
Because once something is global, there are more chances that a global standard will arise.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster Ravi and Hashim. Hashim, can I please ask you to unmute yourself once again?
Yep.
All right. Hashim, your 3 minutes for your constructive speech starts now.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the topic on the floor is gaming should be made a global sport. Our worthy opponents have played their part of trying to game us out of this question altogether. We being sportive about it, I'm going to present you a few points which are going to refute this entirely and turn this table upside down. My very opponents conveniently slipped out the physical part of the game and then tried to connive us into convincing that moving a joystick is actually physical activity. I'm sure Divya, who gave a beautiful speech about basketball and Kobe Bryant, is probably shaking in her roots listening to that. What our worthy opponent mentioned was that it is global with hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent and being given as prize money. And he mentioned also that the 2017 League of Legends had 80 million viewers. What you conveniently forget is that the same League of Legends tournament was hacked by a DDoS attack, because of which they had to delay the function by 1 hour itself. These kind of attacks are the reason why there is absolutely no safety, no way of ensuring a fair environment in online games. That is why they are called video games and not sport. You had mentioned that the primary goal is victory. Fair enough. And you talked about the core design. Tell me one thing, how many versions of, say, if you pick any online sport like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, how many versions of these have come out? There are different champions for each version. There are also different records for each version. What is the credibility of a champion or a record when you have every new version coming out? So there were nothing basically which my worthy opponent had presented, which even fosters a case to even discuss this. But since I am being sportive about it, I am going to humor this and I'm going to continue into my points on why I believe gaming should not be made a global sport. First and foremost, what about identity proof or cheating? The senior VP of the same organization which my worthy opponent had mentioned, Esports League, Marcel Menge, had very clearly articulated in an article in 2018 on the German ESL series, where players have played better at the qualifying stage, and when they played in person, they could not perform. What was the reason? They were using aimbots and wall hacks. For those who don't know, aimbots allow you to aim at your opponents without actually doing it. Wall hacks show you what is behind a wall in a game. In games like Counter-Strike, League of Legends, this defeats the game itself. Hacks are available for $20, $30, and by their own admission, the cheating mechanisms cannot be detected by these organizations. Ransomware attacks. What is the credibility of these people?
Thank you, Toastmaster Hashim. You're currently muted. All right. Can I please welcome Toastmaster Karthikeyan? Can you please unmute yourself? Karthikeyan, can you hear him? Okay.
Yeah.
Karthikeyan, Hashim, can you please also unmute yourself? Yep.
Thank you.
Am I audible, Vinod?
Yes, you are. Karthikeyan, your 2 minutes for cross-examination starts now.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to just ask one question to my buddy opponent. Are you aware of a study which has been made by the German Sports University in Cologne, which says that a gamer's heart rate is at, when he's playing a game, is at something like 160 to 180 beats per minute, which is roughly the same as a marathon runner. And also the cortisol levels in a player, a gamer, which is a stress hormone, is almost same as a F1 driver. Are you aware of this research? Obviously, from the way you presented the argument, I doubt.
I've also seen a counter research which says that the heart rate of a person having sex is also quite high. That does not mean it should be classified as a sport. So
No,
I don't
sir,
believe that.
do not compare sex with sports. That's not.
I would like to interject, and please let's observe our and refrain from.
Moving on. In fact, one more point you had mentioned about cheating and things. Are you aware of the FIFA scandal which happened recently, and also about the use of steroids in sports, which enhances a person's performance? And they are being found because of certain regulations which have been introduced, as they have been recognized.
Yeah.
And don't you think that the same thing will happen when gaming also becomes a global sport and is recognized?
The senior VP of ESL, which is the biggest league, has himself admitted that the anti-cheating engines that they have are not capable of detecting custom-made hacks. That has been admitted by the organization itself.
It's all right, sir.
I
Because
think that's
in
enough
fact, I will give you some data about this as I move along in my argument. You'll be able to get to that, because certain organizations like the IOC. Do you recognize IOC as a competent authority, International Olympic Committee?
Yes, IOC is a
yes. The IOC, in fact, you did mention about Thomas Bach. Thomas Bach in the esports forum recently.
I did not mention about Thomas Bach.
Yeah, in one of your team members mentioned, and I would like to,
Thank you so much, Karthikeyan and Hashim. Karthikeyan, can I please ask you to unmute yourself once more? All right, Toastmaster Karthikeyan, your 3 minutes for your constructive speech starts now.
good evening. Even though the opening speaker of my opposition team, while ending his speech, requested the House to pass the motion, and the motion on the floor is gaming should be made a global sport. But I will anyway continue with my arguments. I am continuing with what I was saying about the quote of Thomas Bach, who's been misquoted by my opposition. His quote is that gaming will be the first step of a long journey of finding themselves in the Olympic forum. In fact, I would like to tell you that, in the Paris Olympics, which is in 2024, Paris has actually requested that esport be included as an event in the Olympics because they feel that it will make the Olympics relevant to the younger generation. It is a very important point to note here. In fact, one of the things of talking about the popularity of the sports, the world has a population of about 7.7 billion people. Of this, about 2 billion people are either playing online games or are aware. They have esport awareness. And you'll definitely agree, 25% of the population of the world is aware of esports. Either they are playing or they are watching it. So don't you think this is good enough a reason why it should be accepted and made a global sport? For your kind of information, the Asian Games, which is going to be happening at 2022, esport is a medal event. So already we have gone past the stage of acceptance of this as a global sport, and why delay the inevitable? And I would request my opposing team to accept it now. Moving on with the esport scenario. In fact, if you look at the audience, any sport is global when everybody, irrespective of age and gender, come to watch it. That's what makes a sport more popular. If you take esports today, the audience level, the global audience is growing at such a tremendous pace. Today, games are watched. The esport audience level is something like 495 million in 2020, and it's expected to move up to 646 million in 2023. The revenue that is getting generated in this sport is very high because it is required. Revenue generation is required for the promotion of any sport, be it football, be it athletics, anything. Revenue is very important, and the way the revenue is growing in the esport and in the gaming industry is very high. From 776 million in 2018, it has grown to 1.6 billion It is expected to go to 1.6 billion in 2023. So it is a clear indication that the gaming is something which has become a part of the life. Why fight it now? We need it. We need to make the existing sports. Am I muted?
All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karthikeyan. Let's welcome Toastmaster Hariharan now into the mix. Toastmaster Karthikeyan, can you please unmute yourself once more? Yep. All right. Toastmaster Hariharan, your 2 minutes of cross-exam. Can you hear us? We haven't heard anything from
Yes.
you. Okay, brilliant. All right. So Toastmaster Hariharan, your 2 minutes of cross-examination starts now.
To all the members of the House and to my worthy opponents, wish all a good evening. And in specific to DTM Karthikeyan. DTM Karthikeyan, I've got 4 questions to you. Let us see how much time we have before you can give me the answers. The first thing is, you quoted a gentleman right at the beginning saying that it's going to be a long journey. You said it's going to be a long journey for gaming to get into.
It was the IOC President Thomas Bach.
Superb. Do you know the reason why it's going to be a long journey?
Because the first step has been taken by the request which has been made by the Paris Olympic Committee to include esports as an event in their.
May I clarify here? In Paris, it's only going to be a showcase event because they are not sure how it is going to behave.
No, sir. No. The reason is because there's not enough time to go through the administrative procedures. I think probably you should have read the report in detail. It clearly says that because there's not enough time, it won't be eligible because of the time schedule that is set as of now.
Exactly. That's because it builds on Hashim Halim's as well as my opening speaker quotation saying that yes, it cannot be regulated because there are too many hacks to it. Number one. Number two.
Sir. It is the administrative procedure. The procedure, as if I could walk through the procedure for you for a sport to come into the Olympics is that first there is something called evolution. The history of the sport is done. The national federations are recognized.
Yes.
Then a request is made to the national federation, and then points like popularity, the revenue which is generated by the sport, and the relevance of the sport are evaluated. I have answered the question of relevance. I have answered you the question of popularity. I have answered you the question of revenue. It is only the administrative procedure of forming the national federations.
So DTM Karthikeyan, if popularity was so big, then ideally fencing and games like others should not have been a world international sport at all. So popularity is just one small aspect in the priority list when it comes to international sports.
It is very
if I look at cricket, it's got a higher popularity than fencing.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hariharan. Can I please ask you to unmute yourself once again?
Yes,
all right. Toastmaster Hariharan, your 3 minutes for your constructive speech starts now.
Toastmasters and members of the House and my worthy opponents. There are 3 things that we have missed out drastically when we look at sports and especially gaming. Let me put that across. Little bit of research. The WHO report on the 1st of April 2020, which had done a particular amount of research on obesity of the world, states that 39% of the people aged 18 and above are obese. And worst of all, they gave numbers. They said 340 million children aged between 5 and 19 are obese. Now you must be wondering, why is it or how is this data going to be important? First of all, if you're going to be considering children to play this game, you're putting them into a triangle that's going to kill them. Obesity is already a challenge. Gaming needs at least 60 to 80 hours of training every week, and that is sitting and working. May I tell you, WHO came out with a report which said smoking is equal to sitting. Therefore, sitting is the new smoking. And gaming cannot be done by running around with any form of physical exercise. So you're obviously subjecting people to the first problem, obesity. The second one, I don't know how many of you all know, but Ted Bundy was the first person in the world to be called a serial killer. And if you read his report in the end, which was done by a psychologist, it very clearly states that Ted Bundy became a serial killer because he was subjected to something at the age of 7 and then continued living in something known as a fantasy world. When you have games like these, which are highly violent, may I please tell you, it plays a large effect, or it actually transforms the brain to become aggressive. And that has been proven from 1990 to now, when 400% is the increase of children becoming aggressive, as well as children actually going into depression, because they're not able to understand what is a fantasy world as against reality. This is problem number 2. Problem number 3, and this is very grave. Did you know that sex offenses online has gone up by 300% in the United States only during the COVID lockdown? And this is a report by the New York Times on the 20th of March, 2020. Reason was only one: gaming. How do people get in there? They come in as players in the multiplayer game and then befriend the person and then get into it. With that, I rest my case. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hariharan. Can I please ask both Toastmaster Sandeep and Hariharan? Yes, you both unmuted. Toastmaster Sandeep, your 2 minutes of cross-examination starts now.
Thank you.
Sandeep.
DTM Hariharan,
yes.
Two of your speakers were concentrating on this whole thing about physical exertion. So I have one question for you. Could you please answer this with a clear yes or no? Do you consider standing up upright and raising a hand as physical exertion?
No.
Thank you. Do you know that air pistol is an Olympic event and is considered a sport, and that's what you do in it?
Yes.
Thank you. The next thing, do you think that there is a need
but DTM
for
Sandeep, may I tell you something?
I'm asking you, I'm asking you yes and no questions. I'm asking
fine,
you
no
yes
problem.
and no questions.
No problem.
Yeah. Do you agree that there is a need for governance in anything to do with online gaming?
Absolutely. In need of the hour.
Thank you. In all the sports that are there, did the sport become global first, and the governance body come later, or was it the other way around?
The governance body was always there first, and then came the sport.
So you're saying FIFA came before football?
Football was played locally, not globally. So you have to have a body before it gets in. That's why cricket is where it is. Thank you so much. You actually accepted it. Chess is the way it is because there is a governing body. Boxing is the way it is because there is a governing body.
Thank you for reference in chess. Do you think chess is physical exertion?
Absolutely right. But it is. Let's understand this. Chess needs a lot of practice and mental capacity, which does not only come in.
So what's the difference between gaming and chess?
Superb. In gaming, you sit 15 hours to play a game. In chess, you play barely 60 minutes. Thank you very much for that. Because
that's a game, that's not practice. That's a game, that's not practice.
15 hours to play a game in esport. That's what your League of Legends and all needs.
But what about the practice?
Even in practice, I'm saying, in chess, you don't take more than 3 hours of practice. That's what Vishwanathan Anand was doing.
Thank you so much. Now, for our closing statements, can I please welcome Toastmaster Sandeep? Could you please unmute yourself first? Toastmaster Sandeep, your 3 minutes for your closing statement starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Let me start with some of the points raised by my opponent team and why I think these are not relevant to this debate at all. Number one, the moot point was the whole thing about physical exertion, but they failed to give us examples of things like air pistol events where there is no physical exertion and at the same time is considered a sport at the international level. While at the same time, we gave you examples whereby there is physical exertion in terms of operating the controllers and the joysticks. That was point number one. Their second point was whole thing around governance. Without really understanding the fact that even with governance currently in place for things like football and Olympic Committee, there are lots of corrupt practices happening both at the FIFA level as well as the Olympic Committee. The third point that they made was with respect to everything to do with things like obesity and so on. So dump everything on the bad effects of gaming. While at the same time, what we have done is we have given you proper statistics in terms of why gaming should be considered firstly a sport, because it ticks all the boxes of what a sport is in terms of the goals, the competitive spirit, and the acceptance. And the third one, and also in terms of the global acceptance. So if these are the three key considerations, and also the points which were raised by my speakers, where DTM Ravi Musad talked to you about the benefits of this sport, as well as bringing it under the governance, which can only happen if we make it as a global sport. That is what is going to take us forward. The last thing was the statements made by my closing speaker, DTM Karthikeyan, in which he clearly mentioned how number one, it is already a sport in the 2022 Asian Games and is considered as a showcase event in the next Olympics. Given all of these, the inefficient arguments by my opponent speakers, the supporting arguments that me and my team have put forward as a part of my affirmative team, I request this House to pass the motion that gaming should be a global sport. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandeep. Can I please welcome back Toastmaster Vinod Panikar? I can't see your video just yet. There you are. All right. Vinod,
okay, so we are not going to go in a breakout room?
No, there's no breakout room for this particular one. So
okay. It's fine.
Apologies, we should have communicated that at the start. But Toastmaster Vinod, your 3
Just
minutes
a second.
for your...
Can I get a sharing access?
Sure. Yeah, I'm just asking the host to make you a presenter.
Yeah, just a second, Vinod.
It's already there, Vinod. You try it.
Yeah, you can, Vinod.
Just a second. Sorry for the delay. No, it says, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, I can start my time.
Okay, all right. Toastmaster Vinod, your 3 minutes for your summary speech starts now.
Okay, thank you, moderator. And me and the team Negative were against the motion that gaming should be made a global sport have clearly defined the points why there is the problem to make gaming a global sport. We quoted a research from the university from the challenges of implementing a governing body for regulating sports by Jacqueline Martini in 14th March, where they clearly mentioned there is an ethical problem in the governance in gaming industry. Further, corruption is at the gaming encourages corruption at a young age. And remember what the Assistant Commissioner Patterson said, we have got young men, typically 19 to 20 years old, who have no history with police getting into all these things. And just look at the corruption that is rampant. The Korean Esports Association chairman, who was ruling from 2014 to 17, was convicted of fraud. Okay, so that was for the corruption and the World Health Order disorder. Now, this is not something which we can take lightly because it has been classified as a mental health disorder. Our speakers refuted our opponents all the points very easily, where they said that they missed out the physical part and they wanted a joystick to play a game. That is what, according to them. Again, the second, what they mentioned was they make a revenue of 18 million. The League of Legends, where our DTM Hashim very clearly said that game itself was hacked, what they were mentioning. And he questioned the credibility, the importance of identity proof. And then the question of Thomas Bach, which is going so and forth. Let me conclude that by showing it to you. Now, this is the exact statement of Thomas Bach. There must be an organizational guarantee compliance with the rules and regulation of Olympic movement, anti-doping, betting, manipulation. He went on firmly opposed to introduce esports in Olympic game. This is the exact thing what Thomas Bach said. He just said that we will have a showcase because it has got a worldwide acceptance and we have entertainment of money and all these things. So my dear friends, with all this solid proof, we don't want our youngsters to go corrupt. Please help us in supporting the motion to stay negative for this, that gaming should not be made a global sport. We are against this motion. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vinod. Let's have a wonderful round of applause for all of our debaters. We will be voting for the best debate team as well as the best debater. Toastmaster Anuradha, are we doing it on Menti?
No, I'm launching the poll here. The first poll will be the best debate team. And I'm just launching it. Can I remove the co-host from Vinod? Pranav, Lavanya, Hemant, you will not be able to vote. Is that okay?
Yes, fine.
Yes. Okay.
You can remove me as the co-host.
The reason for not voting us is not given, so we are fine.
Okay. Now I'm launching the first poll, the best debate team. Another. Lavanya, can I close it? I cannot.
Yes, please go ahead and close it, and let's start the second one just in the interest of time.
Okay. And the next poll will be the best debater. And here it goes.
Please enable the chat also.
Chat is enabled.
Now that the debate is over.
All right, while we close out the voting.
No, it's still.
No. While everybody does vote, just to fill the silence, I'll just give you a small anecdote from my history of gaming. When I was in college, I used to play this computer game called Need for Speed. Some of you millennials might not know what that is, but it was a racing game and it was on a computer. So we were two players playing using the same keyboard. And my housemate, Sam, was always a little bit better than me. So the action, he always won. My reaction, when nobody was watching, I went into the settings and I changed his handbrake key and put it on my side of the keyboard. And every time we were close to the finish line, and if he was ahead of me, I would press his handbrake, his car would skid out of control, and I would overtake. Perception, I convinced him that he had either a flat tire or he wasn't a good driver. Years later, at our mini reunion, when I confessed it to him, he was so mad. I'm not sure what he was more mad about, that I was cheating or whether I had convinced him that he was a lousy driver. But I've never played any computer games since. Unfortunately, I'm still around, so I will leave that to the perception of the audience. With that, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful debate. Let me hand it back over to our Toastmaster of the evening, DTM Soumya. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Vinod. I think there's a lot of heat produced there, intense debating. So after that, what I'm going to tell you is going to be so trivial, so frivolous. So I'll be so happy to see some smiles. Keep your videos on. our friend, she's not here today, Radha Hari and I once had a conversation on which is the most boring job. Okay, what was our perception of which is the most boring job? And I voted for the security guard. I said, just imagine how often do thieves come? And this guy just stands here all day waiting for something to happen. So that has to be the most boring job. Radha let it pass then. The same evening, she came straight from Lulu to my house, laden with bags, okay? And you should have seen the intensity on her face. She said, I found out the most boring job, Soumya, it is not the security guard. I said, what is it, Radha? What is it? She was so agitated. She said, it is the coconut scraper in Lulu. He sits in that tiny room, holding a coconut like that, scraping, and just he keeps giving it all day. Can there be anything more boring than that? And she was so overcome with emotion for that man. Talking of coconut scraping, I posed this question to one of our members here. I said, suppose you're starting a new shop. He was a very active debater in this debate. I said, if you had to start a shop and you were in need of a cashier and a coconut scraper, who would you recruit from Take Debate? The answer came like that. He said, Rajiv for cashier and the coconut scraper, Stephen George. By the way, this, in case you people don't know, this coconut scraper is now our division director. I have something more to say about the coconut scraper. I sent him a message. I said, Stephen, has there been any wrong judgment you've made? You've seen a person and thought something and then had to revise that opinion. Your perception was wrong. He said, yes. I said, who is it? He said, you. I thought you were a very strict teacher who couldn't ever become a principal and you were taking all that out on us. But now I've realized that you're such a sweet person. Let me tell you, he said, as sweet as they get, always ready to help them in any way possible. After seeing this, I said, somebody is calling me sweet despite my age and the gray hair. I couldn't handle it. So I needed validation. I sent this message to a friend and I said, what can you make of this? She said, Stephen said this to you. I can imagine the expression. I said, yeah. He said, oh, he just wants a lot of work done from you. That's all, nothing else. I don't know what he meant about the sweet. Stephen, would you know who said this about you? Is Stephen here?
Was it Sandeep?
No. Sandeep, look at the perception he has.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Last doubt. Was it Elna?
No, it's somebody from this club. A person in power, my dear. Watch out. It was Lavanya. You thought she was a friend, huh? Change your mind, Stephen. Now you know what she is. I have some very interesting answers, some more. I asked somebody here, who do you think will speak their mind without thinking, very impulsively? So he said, am I getting into trouble? I said, face it. So he gave me the answer. The woman, do you know who it could be? He said, Divya. Divya, where are you? Okay. There was a Hindi film in which I referred to this last time also. Our Amitabh Bachchan says, Bol diya to bol diya. And that means this is the final word. And believe me, everyone in the family keeps quiet, they accept that word. So I said, who in Take Debate is this bol diya to bol diya kind of man? And I got the answer, Sandeep Vengsarkar. Sandeep, do you know which lady said this of you? Guess, in case you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm introducing you to the members of Take Debate.
Yeah, I think it must have been Anuradha.
No, guys, you don't know your members.
Why would I do
that? It was Usha Mohan. Okay, then I asked another person, which woman in Take Debate can't keep a secret? Even before my question went, the answer came back. The answer was Ajita. Ajita, look at your reputation, my dear. Do you know who said this?
I want to know.
You want to know? Take a guess. Guess fast. There was, I can never forget my first Take Debate meeting. There's a very sweet person in Take Debate. I had to do a role play with Sharon. Okay, the topic given to us was I was supposed to be, I think, her daughter-in-law, and she was the mother-in-law, and we had an argument. And I came across as a very bossy daughter-in-law, and I won. I think I got a lot of reactions. The action was I was bossy. The reaction was a lot of laughter. But the perception was a lot more than that. A very nice, sweet gentleman from this club came up to me and he said, "You were very good, but then you know what? You should have been kind to the mother-in-law. You should have ended that table topic on saying, Amma, whatever it is, you are better than me." Okay, I couldn't believe my ears. I said, it was a table topic. He said, no, even then, you have to give respect for that age. Now, who could have said this? Who could have said this to me? Fast.
Ramesh Menon.
See, Ramesh saw you here. Ramesh Menon said this to me. So I don't know what he thinks of me, that, oh God, this lady must be harassing the mother-in-law at home. So I was telling him, please come home. I'm not such a wicked person. But he said, no, it's all right. But in future, remember this. Now, I think we'll have to move on to our next segment, and which is table topics. And coming up for these table topics, to conduct the table topics is the Toastmaster A.B. Lakshmanan. Lakshmanan, I asked some lady in this club, I said, suppose somebody slaps Lakshmanan, what do you think he will do? And she says, he will worry about the probability of getting slapped again and he will run away. Lakshmanan, do you know who said this?
Maybe you.
She's an amazing debater.
Who is that?
I said she's an amazing debater.
Smita?
Vijay.
Smita,
Vijay.
yes, absolutely right. Smita said that of you. So with this, let me hand over the podium to Lakshmanan to take us through table topics.
So this is the time to bring Smita to the stage now. Good evening, member of the house. For the benefit of the test, table topic is an impromptu speaking session. This is an exercise we do in each and every Toastmaster meeting. The goal of this exercise is to prepare ourselves to speak without any preparation. As a table topic master, I'll be giving a topic and I'll be calling audience name, and you will be coming up to the screen and deliver a mini speech. The green light, the duration of the speech should be 1 to 2 minutes. Timer will switch on the green light by 1 minute. Amber light will goes on by 1 minute 30 seconds. Red light by 2 minutes. Please note there is a grace period of 30 seconds before green and after the red. You should stop your speech within this time to get qualified. Please form your speech within mini speech within 1 to 2 minutes time. And following to this, the voting will happen to select the best table topic speaker. Without taking much time, let me straightly go into the topics. May I pick our coconut scrapper, division director, Toastmaster Steven, to the stage, screen. Okay. Can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, the topic to you is, based on your current daily action and routines, where would you expect to be in next 5 years? Based on your current daily action and routines, where would you expect to be in next 5 years? Over to you. This is a question that is asked in probably every single interview, right? Where do you see yourself 5 years down the lane? Where do I see myself 5 years down the lane? It's a very simple answer. I see myself as an expert coconut scraper. And I say this with all honesty, because I know that this has been told as a joke in this platform that I'm a coconut scraper. Thank you. But I'm actually learning how to cook, believe it or not. A boy who has been pampered all his life, his mother decided that before he gets married, he needs to learn at least how to cook or how to boil an egg. Now, both these things don't need coconuts, right? So what my mother decided was,
she one day decided to teach me how to make biryani. And while she was doing that, she noticed that I completely messed up every single spice possible the first time that I made it. So what she did is, do one thing, son, do what you're really good at. And that is, go and scrape coconut on the side. That's the only thing that you do. I think mine is the only house in Dubai which still has that coconut scraping little thing on the side where you, oh, even Divya also has that. We actually had that because we got it 15 years back when my parents moved here. We still have that. So that's the only thing that I do. So A.B. Lakshman, thank you for calling me up and giving me this topic. If I see myself 5 years down the lane, I don't see myself as a district director or as any other post, but I do see myself as an expert coconut scraper. That's your answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that reflective statement. May I request any of the guests? Can I pick guest Pooja? Can you please unmute yourself? Guest Pooja Baburaj.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. The topic for you is, how do you react when someone lies at you? How do you react when someone lies at you? Over to you, Pooja.
Would it be bad if I say I didn't understand the statement? My apologies. I really didn't understand the statement.
Can I repeat again? How do you react when someone lies to you?
Okay. Well, I think the first reaction that everybody has is a lot of temperament. And across time, I have a very fiery personality, so I've known to go off on people when they lie to me. But then over time, I realized that whenever someone takes an action or makes a statement that you do not agree with, you need to take a step back and try and put yourself in their shoes as to why that statement was made. Quite often, we cannot peek into somebody else's life and understand what they are going through and why a certain lie was made. It could be a white lie, it could be something that is completely destructive, but there needs to be the benefit of doubt that needs to be given at that point of time. So, as of now, from experience, my very brief experience, I've realized that as much as we can, we would need to control our instinctive reaction and give whoever it is in front of you the benefit of doubt so that we're able to empathize and understand where they're coming from, and then make a decision and choice on how you need to react. If it is something that has negatively impacted your life or someone else's life, then sure, you would need to have very open and honest conversation with them. But if it is for the purpose of saving grace, then do give them a chance to redeem themselves.
That was great speech. May I request one another guest, Rafiq Ahmed. Can you hear us, Rafiq Ahmed? Can
Yes,
you see?
topic master, I'm here.
Yeah. Your topic is, based on your perception, is stealing to feed a starving child is wrong? Based on your perception, is stealing to feed a starving child is wrong? Over to you, Rafiq.
Thank you very much, table topic master. I think the entire concept about perception itself is flawed because it has something to do with an individual's opinion, individual's mindset. So personally for me, perceptions change from time to time, people to people. And I would look at it in that sense. So it's not just about this particular situation. Any situation for that matter, you can look at it in two different ways from two different individuals' point of views. For example, if I can just share with you, I might look at someone who looks to me as a person who's probably very evil or probably a part of something which is not so good. But the other person who might look at him in a different way might have a different opinion. So it changes from time to time, from person to person. So in a situation where you might have to actually steal to feed someone, well, I think in that particular instance, at that particular point in time, you think people really care to even think that was it stolen or was it being bought or was it being given by someone? No one really cares, because in that particular situation, the important thing is to feed that person. So I would do it if I was in that situation. I would steal to feed someone who was hungry, or I would rather steal to feed myself if I was hungry. Because end of the day, it all boils down to survival. So how good you are at surviving is what makes you good at adapting to changes. If you can adapt to that, I think you're going to go down and you're not going to keep up with the changes that happen around you. So I would say it would not be wrong to do it in my perception. Maybe in someone else's perception, it may be wrong. Back to you.
Thank you. May I request Ganesh Raman? Ganesh Raman, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Your topic is, tell us the thing, situation, tell us the thing or situation performed in past that made you to be proud of. Tell us the thing or the situation you performed in past that made you to be proud of. Over to you, Ganesh Raman.
So something myself. All right. Well, one of the things that when I look back and think of, which I think I'm a little proud of, is the fact that I chose not to give up on somebody. So many years ago, when I traveled down to my wife's place, Mangalore, as we were approaching the front of the house in an auto rickshaw, a bike with two very young gentlemen sped past us, and in the process, it trampled a little puppy on the road. The puppy must have been perhaps 3 weeks old, maximum 4 weeks old, little tiny mongrel. And of course, it squealed and it was crying its heart out. Obviously, the bikers left. And my wife and I were stood in front of the house at 6 o'clock in the morning. We had just arrived from Bangalore overnight. And we stood there and looked at each other and didn't really know what to do. We were going to visit only for a couple of days and we were going to go back to Bangalore. So we didn't quite know what we should be doing. Should we pick up the pup? Should we not? Then my wife, she's the more compassionate of the two of us. So she decided to pick up the pup. At about 8 o'clock, we went around looking for a vet. And we found one dilapidated, absolutely broken down government dispensary with a doctor who looked half a nut, to be honest. And we were concerned, what was he going to do? So when we approached him, we thought we'd tell him to kind of put the little pup out of its misery because it looked like it was not going to survive really. And I won't forget this statement for the rest of my life. This doctor, who I consider to be a nutcase, took me aside and he said, let's give him a chance. We will give him some painkillers and we'll see what happens. And he did that, prevented us from putting it down. We took care of it for 2 days. We left and we went back to Bangalore. My father-in-law at the time was about 65, retired. He nursed the little pup back to health. And believe it or not, in about 6 months' time, this pup had grown fully healthy, had been taken away to the village to which the household help belonged, and, believe it or not, gave birth to a litter of 6 pups. That's when we figured out it was a female. So, unbelievable the circumstances in which it got given a life and it was able to produce life afterwards. So I'm proud of that moment that I did not insist on my stand and I was willing to give it a chance. Since then, I think I've made it a point to give everybody a chance. Back to you.
We too proud of Ganesh. We too proud of. Timer. Timer, do we have enough time to take up one more speaker?
No, sir. Sorry. Only 4.
Okay, okay. Then can I request the timer to give the report?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We had 4 speakers this evening. Toastmaster Stephen George took 1 minute and 39 seconds. Toastmaster Pooja Baburaj took 1 minute and 20 seconds. Toastmaster Rafiq Ahmad took 1 minute and 39 seconds. DTM Ganesh Raman took 3 minutes and 44 seconds.
So
the
3 of them are qualified?
Yeah.
Can you?
I qualify for 2 speakers.
I was about to say that Ganesh and you stole the line of
DTM
mine.
Ganesh, like mentor, like mentee. Now I know why I overtook.
Qualified.
So put the name as Ganesh Raman and Raman Ganesh and vote for it.
Lavanya, can I launch the poll?
Our vote master, can you please proceed for voting?
Yes,
Lavanya.
Can't hear you, Anuradha.
No, I said, can I launch the poll? And I've launched.
It's very exciting not to vote and see the voting results and fluctuation. I'm quite amazing. See.
So can I hand over the stage to Soumya? AMOD Soumya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmana. Now we come to the next part. We now come to the debate evaluation part of it, and to do the evaluation, we have a person who's well known for his perception and insight, and he's known for amazing evaluation, particularly of debate. So I would like to invite Toastmaster Noor Mohammed to come and do the debate evaluation. Since I wasn't able to get a response from you, we'll do something quickly, Mr. Toastmaster Noor now. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you,
I'm going to give you an adjective. So you identify it with anyone here, okay? Let's see how perceptive you are. Who here is bossy?
Actually, I don't know many of them, so I cannot
Okay,
be a good judge of character on that.
Let me tell you the people whom you know. Samira, Rania, Saju, Lavanya, Devla, Soumya, Vijaya. You can choose any one of them.
Bossy.
This is a 1 minute round.
Okay, I would choose you.
I asked for it. Okay, perceptive.
Perceptive is Ganesh Raman.
Aggressive.
Aggressive is Vinod Raman.
Assertive.
Assertive also is Vinod Raman.
No, that's not allowed. You have to give another person a chance.
Okay, I'll amend it. Assertive is more assertive as Vinod, and aggressive probably Stephen George.
Okay, diplomatic.
Diplomatic is Ramesh Anantaraman.
It's all yours now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Toastmasters Day, fellow Toastmasters. And the applaud. Thank you all. Thank you so much for having me today. First of all, a wonderful debate. I enjoyed the debate very well. And getting on to it. First thing, gaming should be made a global sport. This is the resolution for today. The affirmative team captain, Sandeep, he defined the terms properly. Like sport being, it's a competition, it has rules to play, and there is something called winning. And the primary goal is a victory. Those are the characteristics of a sport. He also defined global, he also defined what is gaming. And those were specific definitions, and that was well done. Coming to his arguments, any debate needs to be presented in a coherent fashion. So this involves presenting arguments or first presenting contentions. Contention is a statement which is supported by a set of arguments. Now, each argument will have a claim, and then evidence will be provided for that claim. All right. So Let's see at the claims or the arguments put forward by Toastmaster Sandeep. So he put forward that gaming, online gaming is competitive, hence it should be a global sport. That was his claim. However, it's a strong argument, by the way. The arguments are classified into two, strong arguments and weak arguments. Now, it's a strong argument that a particular event, if it is competitive, it can become a sport, a global sport. However, there was no evidence, substantial evidence, which was provided for that claim. And he also mentioned about global level participation of gaming. And he provided few evidence, but not substantial enough for me to be convinced as a judge. He also presented a claim for physical exertion, and however, there was no references or no solid evidence for this particular claim. It was just a claim. It was just standing as a claim. And he mentioned statistics like it's a competitive and a global level. The statistics were old statistics, which were dated 2016 and 17. Whenever you are giving statistics, they should be relevant statistics. So any information which you are presenting should be relevant. If it is old information, then it becomes a weaker spot for your opposition to pounce on you and to weaken your argument. He also presented another strong argument regarding virtual accessibility. Now that is one very strong argument, and however, he had no time to present any evidence for that. And he challenged the status quo as affirmative team. The burden of proof falls on your shoulders, and he definitely challenged the status quo by stating his contentions there. Now, coming to the cross-examination by the first speaker, N1 Vinod, he cross-examined A1 Sandeep, and he focused on fraud. However, fraud was never a standing argument. The idea of cross-examination is to refute. Refute means a demolish an argument or to weaken a particular argument by finding inconsistencies inside the information which was provided, by finding logical fallacies, by finding extrapolations, and etc. So it is about finding the faults, finding the loopholes where the person is presenting a particular information, and that information can be, either demolished completely, that argument. Always focus on weak arguments in cross-examination. If you focus on your weak arguments, the weak argument was the physical exertion. That was a weak argument. The rest were strong arguments, and also they could have definitely asked a question regarding, the older statistics. That was missed. However, I like the way the cross-examination was done, and he also mentioned regarding a popcorn activity, like eating popcorn with the hand this way. That was funny. Almost it was on the gray areas where you should be careful that you don't get into the side of heckling. However, it was okay. I thought it was appropriate for the debate. And nevertheless, Sandeep defended it pretty well. So, however, no arguments were challenged. Hence, all the arguments put forward by Sandeep were standing still. All right. So the idea of how you pick a winner is the number of arguments standing at the end. So if you have more number of arguments which were unchallenged, those get maximum number of points. Those which were weakened, they get the moderate number of points, and those which get refuted gets no points at all. So unchallenged arguments get maximum points. The cross-examination is a great opportunity to actually refute the arguments or completely demolish them. The weaker arguments first, and then to the stronger arguments. Now, N1 Vinod, he gave a good constructive speech. He clarified certain terms of the resolution. However, he failed to give a justification of why he took that stance. So as a negative team captain, it is very important whenever you are not agreeing to the terms presented by the affirmative team, you need to provide justification as to why it is so. All right, and what's your stand on it? What's your take on it? Number two, he provided a very strong argument regarding the lack of governance for the gaming itself. So it's an important fact to notice that all leisure activities, before they become a sport, they need to be regulated first. Then it becomes into a sport. Then it gets global accreditation or global acceptance of it. Just because it gets global acceptance and has no regulation doesn't mean that it can become a global sport. All right. So he mentioned good evidence for that lack of governance, and he also referenced so many places or so many references which actually supported that claim. He talked about corruption, which was a weaker argument. All right, and he mentioned specific. He cherry picked certain evidence, and he talked about how kids got into the corruption and the betting aspect of it. However, that was a weaker argument. Corruption is a weaker argument. Third argument which he presented was regarding the mental health disorder, which is a strong argument again. And he mentioned few very little evidence for that. However, I couldn't find any strong evidence associated to that particular claim, to that argument. Ravi went on to cross-examine Vinod, and he asked whether he should be regulated first to become a sport. However, when you are doing your research about DeBait, you should be very clear about the facts of a particular debate. So you could have easily avoided that question. So should Olympics be banned for certain? There was a question regarding whether Olympics should be banned for certain reason. However, I felt that that question was completely irrelevant to the particular debate because it had no logical connection to the particular proposition at the time. So, however, Ravi actually he said about the corruption. He attacked the weaker argument, and that was a very good thing. What Ravi did was he focused on the weaker argument. So, and he was able to substantially weaken it because the opposite team, we know that he was not able to defend it properly. Ravi went on to give his constructive speech. He mentioned about too-earlier growth and regulation to be increased. Regulation is going to be increased as soon as it is. And he also mentioned that it's an inclusive sport, which is a stronger argument again. And he clearly mentioned about the, how it is an inclusive sport. But it was still a claim because he never included any references or statistics or evidence to state that to substantiate that particular claim. So that was a strong argument, but no evidence on that. And educational institutions adopting these things, the mental health, eye-hand coordination, and the eyesight improvement, that was a very weak argument presented. So that could have been easily cross-examined, but however, Hashim, when he cross-examined Ravi, he focused definitely on the educational aspect of it, and he did focus on the educational use of it, but he was not able to articulate a question which was actually able to weaken that particular argument. He went on to ask regarding educational use, whether did you play games in your school and so on and so forth. But I felt that a better forming of a question, a cross-examination question, is very important during cross-examination. You should corner the person with a yes or no question. I'll come to who did the cross-examination the best. The A1 speaker did the best cross-examination according to me. But this was done, and the global relevance also. The cross-examination, I felt overall, the cross-examination is a place where all of you need to work, except for just one speaker. All of you need to really work on cross-examination. N2 speaker also went on to give a good constructive speech. He did a very good refutation. I felt that a considerable amount of his speech was dedicated to refuting the rebutting the whole speech, the A2 speaker's speech, and Hashim did a great job on that. So very good rebuttal skills there, very good language as well, and he talked about the identity proof, about cheating and ransomware attacks, however, provided no evidence for that. Coming to A3, Karthik, he cross-examined Hashim, and he talked about 180 beats per second, and I guess the moderator intervened there. And please, next time, whenever you use examples, use appropriate ones. And however, Karthik was not able to, question or refute or rebut any of the arguments which are provided by Hashim. So all of his arguments stood there. A3 Karthik, he gave a constructive speech, and it was regarding the inclusive esport being included in Olympics as it became relevant. He gave good statistics on 7.7 billion population, out of which 2 billion were playing, and they had esport awareness, good statistics. However, reference was not provided. The statistics were provided which could be easily challenged in cross-examination. And he provided that it had a global audience, which was a very strong argument. All right, global audience is a very strong argument. He mentioned statistics for that and also a reference for that. So it became an even stronger argument to refute. And he also mentioned regarding the revenue generation aspect of esports and how it is important for promotion of a sport on a global scale. And that was a strong argument, and he provided statistics from a reference which quoted that 776 million, it will be projected to 1.6 billion by 2023. A very good statistic there. And it is a lifestyle now, and he couldn't provide any evidence for that. It was just a claim lying down, but it is an argument anyway put forward. So that was well done. And Hariharan, he cross-examined Karthik. The problem is that sometimes when you are the cross-examiner, you should be in charge of cross-examination. And the witness will be providing you just clarification, right? And what I felt, what Hariharan, could improve in his future cross-examinations is to be assertive in cross-examination. Do not allow the witness to take over your cross-examination, speak for almost all the time of your cross-examination. Hence, you have no time to even ask a proper question, right? Coming to Hariharan's speech, he presented a report on obesity, WHO report, and he tied it really well. His arguments regarding a WHO report and obesity and about children being obese, and then putting the sport as a gaming activity could potentially increase the obesity of children and could kill. And he also used an analogy of smoking equal to sitting, and he tied it to sitting with video games. And that is a good logical connection there, and it is a pretty strong argument there. And he also talked about Ted Bundy, the serial killer, and he mentioned regarding how fantasies could take you on a wrong path, and how our brains are impressionable at a smaller age, and how violent games can really affect children. And he provided statistics and evidence. I thought that his speech was very strong in structure-wise as well as in providing evidence. And he also provided the third argument regarding how sex offenses increased 300% during COVID time, and he associated gaming to it, and he did not give any evidence. It was a very weak argument. And A1 Sandeep, he cross-examined N3 Hari, and I felt this was the best cross-examination which this debate has seen. Now, Sandeep really took this cross-examination to the next level. He asked a series of yes or no questions, and he took control. He was assertive in his cross-examination. He took control, and he asked very specific questions, which actually enabled him to support his claims and his arguments, as well as he weakened a lot of arguments which Hari put forward. So I felt that the pistol thing was a good analogy which he used, and need for governance also, he addressed it in a really good fashion. What I would suggest is, if you are the last person to cross-examine, you can question any of the arguments put forward by the opposite team. So not only just that particular speaker's arguments, so you can actually question and you can actually rebut or refute any of the arguments put forward by that team. Now, Sandeep, when he gave a summary of the debate, I felt that the summary could have been improved dramatically. This is my personal opinion. He mentioned refutation and then points, rebut points, rebut points, rebut points. That could have been, it's a way of doing things, how he did it, but I felt that that could have been improved. Nevertheless, he covered all the points which the affirmative team has put forward, and I thought he could have had an emphatic conclusion that was missing. It's a very it's all about you convince logically, and also you convince us emotionally as well. So that aspect somehow I felt was missing, and video games had a good opportunity for you to do so. N1, Vinod, when he gave a summary, there was absolutely very little refutation, rebuttal speech in his construction. There was actually no rebuttal. Then he spoke about what he said, and I felt that he covered a few aspects of what they have mentioned, the negative team has covered. In fact, he did cover most of them, but he covered his second and third speaker for a very little time. So I thought he could have given equal importance to stronger arguments first, and then to the weaker arguments. And however, he also presented new information in form of that presentation which he showed. So that is not allowed. Including of new information in the summary speech is not allowed. So overall, I felt that you guys have a great potential because this is one of the best debates I have seen among clubs. Of course, excluding the conference which we had recently. Your debate team is awesome, and you guys are on right track. And a small tip to the moderator is to have a 30 seconds break after every constructive speech so that the judges can mark the ballots. Otherwise, it's really difficult to keep a track of what's happening in the debate. So 30 seconds after every constructive speech so that people can gather their thoughts about who spoke what, because I felt that Vinod was taking it on a super speed train, and it was awesome. Vinod is a great moderator. I have always appreciated him. Thank you so much for giving me the time. I think I have exceeded the time, but I really enjoyed the debate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Noor, for that wonderful evaluation. I don't think anyone could have done it better than this. Thank you so much. We now, let me call on Toastmaster Vijaya Sukumar to come and do the TT evaluation. We've been talking a lot about perceptions, but this is one person about whom I don't need to perceive anything because I know her so well. She's one of the most understanding, sensitive, and perceptive people who can't even hurt a fly. So over to you, Vijaya Sukumar, for the TT evaluation.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Let me tell you, I can hurt flies. I just can't stand the sight of flies and I keep swatting them. Okay, moving on to the table topic segment. First of all, a big round of applause to our table topic master who did a fabulous job of introducing the rules of table topics. Yes, we are all seasoned Toastmasters. However, it is always good to have a reminder of how it should be done in the textbook manner. So that was wonderful, baby. And also the topics, I loved the way you tied it up with every aspect of the theme. However, just one suggestion, next time when you are reading out the topics to a table topic speaker, it would be better if the topic is a little more concisely put together. Because what happens if the sentence itself, if the statement itself is very long, for the person who's coming up, they're already nervous about table topics, it makes them even more nervous, trying to figure out the meaning of the entire sentence. So one suggestion, just try to keep it a little more concise. Now moving on to our speakers. Let's begin with our executive coconut scraper, Stephen George, who spoke about where he would like to be in 5 years' time based on his current routine and right now in the present time. So Stephen George, I think you killed two birds with a stone today. You showed immense presence of mind and you laced it with humor when you latched on to what Soumya had spoken about, that about a coconut scraper. I loved the way that you were able to bring in that, showing your presence of mind and also bringing in the story, because that story engaged us all, because we were really intrigued, like wondering how Stephen could actually go into the kitchen and cook. So you gave a lovely descriptive piece about trying to cook a biryani and then failing at it and going. So that was very well done. And it was actually, the clarity of it was very good when you said that you don't see yourself anywhere else in 5 years, but as an expert coconut scraper. However, though you took it in a frivolous manner, in a lighter manner, what I would have loved, I feel that personally, if you had taken it metaphorically a little more, that yes, I see myself as a coconut scraper, getting the best, getting the scrapings out of the meat of life, and seeing myself making the most of life 5 years from now, because the current situation has shown us that life is unpredictable. That would make it a complete table topic in my perception. Moving on to our second table speaker, who was Pooja Baburaj. Pooja, at the outset, let me tell you, my perception from your voice was that you are a person who's very calm and composed. But your very first statement shattered my perception of you when you said that you are one of with a fiery temperament and you lose your temper the moment you hear somebody lie. What I liked about your manner in tackling this table topic was you shared about how you react, and you also shared about how you take the time to think about it and revert and give the other person the benefit of doubt. So this was very well done. However, what I feel you could have done better, you had time. I see that you took a time of just 1 minute 20 seconds. If you had given a particular example of how a situation came where someone lied and then you reacted, it would be wonderful. Or even if you could have started off by saying, Sheila, how dare you lied at me? That showed that flare of temper that you talk about. So overall, well done. If you had just given an example with a dramatization, it would have really been more effective. Now we move on to Rafiq Ahmed. You took a time of 1 minute 39 seconds, and what I really liked is you defined perception. You defined perception in a very personalized manner, and that was really good. You explained 2 points of view, and you also stated your stand clearly that for you don't care. It's a matter of survival, and you would encourage stealing, and you don't think of it as wrong. In your case, my suggestion would be if you could have made the opening, that is the definition of perception, a little more concise and elaborated instead a little more on your stand as to why you believe, because that came in very hurriedly. If you could have paced it out a little more, made the perception definition a little shorter, and given more emphasis as to why you believe stealing is not wrong, it would have been a wonderful way of attacking this particular table topic. Now, last but not the least was DTM Ganesh Raman, who actually almost, I thought I was listening to one of O. Henry's short stories, which have this twist. He brought the twist by saying that, they figured out that the puppy was a female and had a litter. What a beautiful descriptive table topic he had. Is DTM Ganesh out here? I don't know. It was beautiful because what he managed to do is he even managed to bring alive all the characters from, he brought about the dilapidated dispensary, the doctor who looked like half a nut, and that puppy, the trampled over puppy. So every image came out alive. That was the power of his words. However, TTM Ganesh Raman went way over time. I mean, he had to remember that he had to give this O. Henry story, but within 2 minutes because it's a table topic. So overall, a fabulous session. I really enjoyed. Over to you, TMOD of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijaya. So with this, we come to a close of today's meeting. I know there was a lot of frivolous talk in my TMOE session today, but considering that the debate was so heated, I think this is what was required. Actions are planned. Reactions oftentimes are impulsive, but perceptions have to be thought out, and over a period of time, you can develop them. And one thing I find is we're so quick to judge. In fact, even while reading a book, I've always thought about this, we get so swayed by the writer that we fail to think beyond what the writer tells us. Take, for example, the simple story of Cinderella. I've always wondered, from childhood, you're led to believe that Cinderella was white and the stepmother and the stepdaughters were black. There was no gray anywhere. All they told us was Cinderella was made to clean the chimneys. She was a hard-working girl, and the stepmother harassed her. But we gave her so many additional qualities. We thought she was the nicest person, she was gentle, she was sweet. Have we ever stopped to think that even Cinderella could have probably been selfish or arrogant? No. Same way, if you think about the Prince Charming, just because he danced with her and went all over town with a glass slipper, we thought he was the perfect match for her. What was the difference between that prince with a glass slipper and Shah Rukh Khan in Dar? I would have thought he was stalking her. Imagine going from house to house with a glass slipper. But our perception was different because a prince had to be the best. Now, talking about prince, my last tidbit for the day, I asked someone here that if you can think of somebody as a Prince Charming who would follow chase his lady love with a glass slipper, who do you think in Take Debate would qualify? And guess who won? Who won the title of the guy who will chase his lady love with a glass slipper was Vinod Raman Bhariyat. Vinod? And so I asked Vinod, since he got this title, I asked Vinod who he thinks would qualify to be a Cinderella. So I said, who do you think here is meek, docile, subservient? And he says, the diplomatic Vinod Bhariyat says, I wouldn't attribute these adjectives to anybody. And he changed my question. He said, but the person who is most accommodating, very polite, are Ajita and Anuradha. Imagine this guy didn't even tell me you're a nice person. No, he says Anuradha and Ajita. I had given him 4 or 5 options. He rejected them all. And the punchline, he says, can I add something? He asked me very meekly, okay? He said, can I add something? So I said, please do. And he said, my wife has turned me into Cinderella. So over to Cinderella. I don't know whom to call Cinderella. Is it Lavanya or Vinod? So over to Cinderella's wife.
Thank you very much, Soumya, for that wonderful session. I'm a huge fan of Soumya. The first time I attended Take Debate meeting, Soumya was the TMOD. And same day, I joined Take Debate Club. She always makes it personal, and there is so much, in the simplicity, there is so much to learn. That's something I really love about Soumya. Today also being a Zoom meeting where there is a lot of disconnection, though we are connected through internet, we miss the physical meeting. And Soumya with her team bringing every single member into the conversation, even if they don't have a role, she did a fabulous job. Please give her a big round of applause. You can take 30 seconds and leave a comment for her, how you enjoyed her TMOD session. And special thank to Noor, who came all the way from Kuwait to be with us and to give the evaluation. It was very informative. We learned a lot implementing this debate format first time in our club. There is a long way to go, and definitely you have given us a lot of stuff to learn, and we will learn with time. We will get better. Thank you, Noor. Now, I would like to request our guest, how did they find this meeting? If you can, in 30 seconds, if you could give your feedback. Any guests? DTM Robin Anand, would you like to give us a feedback?
Hi, Toastmaster Lavanya. Wonderful to be here. In fact, I was just so absorbed by what was happening. I thought it is one of the most articulate meetings I've seen. Every speaker was so precise and yet so vivid. I really enjoyed. I joined pretty late, but I think I was just in time for all the evaluations. And I think DTM Noor, Soumya, and DTM Vijaya did a fantastic job. And I really enjoyed my few minutes in this meeting, and I hope to catch up soon. And it's a fantastic way of doing debates. And I think if you keep doing this, I think then you will be hard to beat. So all the best to you.
Thank you. Can I request our guest Ali to give us your feedback? Where are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a fantastic evening. I've really had lots of fun. I've enjoyed the beautiful arguments during the debate, which was run meticulously well. So I really appreciate. I look out for another invite so that I can enjoy an evening out with you. Greetings from Kenya, District 114.
Thank you very much. We are glad to have you here, Ali. Pooja, are you there?
Yes.
Could you give your feedback? How did you like the meeting?
Yeah, of course, I enjoyed the meeting a lot. And to be honest, it felt good to be back in an environment where there's a lot of debating happening. I really missed that about my university life. And then I'm reconnecting after a year or so with a bunch of people who can debate. And I thank you, Vijaya ma'am, because you remind me of my debate coach from back in university days. And I really appreciate your feedback, and I hope I can continue to join so that I can keep building on the skill. And really, I appreciate the experience, and it brought back a lot of pleasant memories for me.
Thank you, Pooja. We will connect with you soon. We have Nityanandan. Nityanandan, if you could unmute her. Okay. Looks like he's not here. Yes, Nityanandan. Okay, we will go. DTM Devlal.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. I had a lot of fun listening to you guys, especially this new format. So it was pretty exciting. And I look forward to joining you guys more often. Thank you.
We want to see you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you everyone. And guess you can reach out to Hemant Mundra for the membership to attend our next meeting. And you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram for the updates. Now we are 50. Let's move on to the award session. The difficult debate of the day for the evening. It was choosing which was the best team or who was the best debater. And the best debate team, today's best debate team is Team Negative. And the best debater, DTM Sandeep Vengasakar. And the best table topic speaker is Stephen George. Congratulations to all the winners. Judging by all our actions and reactions, my personal perception of Take Debate is that we are going to have an excellent year of debates. With that note, I can close this meeting. Good night and sleep well.
Can we click a picture?
I forgot. Let's take a group photo.
This is classic. People refuse to leave unless a photo is taken. Even after the president has
First meeting of the year, Sandeep sir. We need photograph.
We should have done this sooner when there were so many people.
Yeah, I know.
Can you take?
Who's taking the picture?
Who's taking? I'll take.
Should have done it in the beginning.
Yeah. I'll take a print screen, no?
Hey, everyone, please put on your videos.
Yes, please.
Instead of just photos.
Who's taking? I'll take print screen.
I've taken a screenshot.
Is DTM Hariharan singing?
No, I was explaining to somebody something.
It appeared as if you were singing.
I have taken
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, DTM Noor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DTM Noor. That was an absolutely fabulous evaluation. Amazing.
Yes. That was a masterclass on debate evaluation. Basically.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
and
you.
DTM Devlal, we really hope that we could see you, but then you refuse and you say sorry, and then what to do anyway. But thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. All the very best.
All right. See you.
Vinod Panikar, when are you joining? Vinod, Harshim?
Yes.
Yeah, Hashim, Vinod,
you all should come back.
Smile.
And then join.
It's a cross-examination, yes or no questions only.
Yes.
When are you joining?
No, then you can't pose the question as when you're joining. Are you joining?
Are you joining? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes or no questions only.
What happened to DTM Ravi? Why is he so sad? Because you're leaving now?
He wants to play a game.
But it was a brilliant debate, all of you.
Yeah, very good, very well.
Very nice.
I think Steve's evaluation was the best.
Yeah.
Very nice. It was very nice.
You know, when we were observing you, did we realize that it is not easy? It's really difficult to think and then cross-examine without any break, like DTM Noor said.
Where is that Steve? He actually told us yesterday that you will get some 1 minute or 2 minutes in breakout room for summary. I am sitting like this and he's going,
No, No, that is why when I shared, no, I had removed that breakout. So there was no time for breakout. It was
No,
direct
the
summary.
new format takes some getting used to. I think.
No, but we need time for breakout, and we will need that 15-20 seconds between speakers also.
Yeah, I'm doing 3 things at the same time.
Also, the
But nevertheless,
strategy
very
behind
well done.
cross-examination, what it is to be asked,
I
and
can't
what
help you. Tell me, you guys have given me the work.
Sorry, this is Toastmasters Forum, and I shouldn't be saying this, but why was sex on your mind, Harshit?
Okay, just give me about 15
It was
minutes.
like, I didn't expect from
obvious
Hashim.
example, to be honest, and I completely forgot. It's been too long a break since I attended a meeting. Right, sort of lost track that we are at a Toastmasters meeting. Example, and I went right into it.
So probably he thought when the heart beats, the next thing which follows is this.
I should have just gone with my regular example of Sheikh Zayed Road traffic, but it was the first thing.